Nestled at the crossroads of Europe and Africa, at the gateway to the Mediterranean and Atlantic, stands a nation whose geography has shaped its destiny for millennia. Spain, España, more than just a country, is a natural mosaic of contrasts. A land of mountains and plains, arid deserts and green pastures, ancient coastlines and rugged interiors. To understand Spain is to begin with its geography, for in this land, the earth has always whispered to those who listened. Let us journey across the landmass that forms the Iberian Peninsula, an expanse covering more than 580,000 square kilometers, shared primarily by Spain and its neighbor Portugal. Of that, over 85% belongs to Spain. But the story of Spanish geography is not one of uniformity. It is a tapestry, a geographical quilt stitched by time, tectonic movement, and the relentless shaping forces of wind, rain, and civilization. National Park the Meseta Central, Spain's high heartland. Our exploration begins in the very heart of the country, in a vast plateau that dominates the Iberian Peninsula like a great stony stage, the Meseta Central. This immense tableland, averaging between 600 and 1,000 meters above sea level, is one of the oldest and most defining geological features of Spain. Split in two by the Sistema Central mountain range, the Meseta is both barren and beautiful, harsh and historic. To the north lies the Submeseta Norte, to the south the Submeseta Sur, both regions where civilizations once rose, from the Celtiberians to the Visigoths, and where Castilian culture found its roots. Here, the seasons are extreme. Summers blaze with heat, winters bite with frost. The land is flat but elevated, and much of it is dry. Rainfall is scarce, which has long influenced the sparse vegetation and agricultural practices. Yet despite the aridity, wheat fields stretch toward the horizon, vineyards cluster in sheltered valleys, and shepherds still guide flocks as they have for centuries. The cities here, Madrid, Valladolid, Salamanca, and Toledo, stand as silent sentinels to the past, shaped by the land and shaping it in turn. Snow-capped mountain the mountains, guardians of the peninsula. Surrounding the Meseta like protective walls are the mountain systems that define Spain's regional character and historical separateness. To the north rise the Cordillera Cantabrica, an ancient mountain chain that blocks the Atlantic rains from reaching the interior. These rugged peaks, draped in mists and green forests, separate the drier Castilian plateau from the verdant coast of Asturias and Cantabria. The range is home to Spain's oldest geological formations and harbors some of its most remote villages and deepest traditions. Further north and east, like a formidable spine, stretch the Pyrenees, one of Europe's greatest natural boundaries. This range, towering over 3,000 meters at its highest points, separates Spain from France and has long served as a barrier to easy invasion and cultural interchange. Yet within its folds lie secrets. Tiny Andorra, nestled in a mountain crease, and ancient Roman roads that still scar the hillsides. The Pyrenees are more than a border, they are a frontier of culture, biodiversity, and myth. To the south, the Sistema Ibérico rises, creating another barrier between the Meseta and the Mediterranean. This complex system includes the Sierra Nevada, whose highest peak, Mulhacén, stands at 3,479 meters, making it the tallest point in mainland Spain. These southern ranges have long influenced climate, agriculture, and access to the coast. They're also home to one of Europe's most unique climatic zones, where snow-capped peaks can be seen just miles from subtropical beaches. To the west, the Sistema Ibérico stretches across northeastern and central Spain, forming a rugged and often overlooked transition zone. While not as well known as the Pyrenees or Sierra Nevada, this range has its own quiet significance. It has shaped the headwaters of major rivers, guarded ancient trade routes, and hidden centuries-old villages that cling to its slopes. Spain's mountains are not merely scenic, they are sculptors of culture, climate, and conquest. Waterwave the coasts, shores of the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. Bound on three sides by water, Spain boasts over 5,000 kilometers of coastline. But these are not uniform shores. Each has its own identity, shaped by currents, climate, and centuries of maritime life. To the north lies the Atlantic coast, known for its dramatic cliffs, deep estuaries, and the pounding waves of the Bay of Biscay. Galicia, with its rias, deep, fjord-like inlets, is Spain's Ireland in miniature, green, misty, and maritime. The fishing villages here rely on the sea as they always have, and the region's isolation from central Spain has preserved its Celtic-influenced culture. Moving west and south along the Portuguese border, we reach the Costa de la Luz, where the Guadalquivir River meets the Atlantic. These flat, sandy coasts are rich in wetlands and birdlife, particularly in Dinana National Park, one of Europe's most significant natural reserves. Turning east, the Mediterranean coast begins. The Costa del Sol, Costa Blanca, and Costa Brava are names synonymous with sun and tourism. Yet these coasts are also ancient, settled by Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans. The Mediterranean brings with it a gentler climate, more predictable rains, and fertile plains. Agriculture thrives here. Citrus groves, olive trees, and vineyards line the hills. Each coastal region speaks to a different era of Spain's maritime identity, from the empire-building ports of Seville and Cadiz, to the cosmopolitan beaches of Barcelona, to the rocky coves of Catalonia where pirates once lurked and poets found their muse. The rivers, lifeblood of the peninsula. Spain's rivers are not the mighty highways of commerce seen elsewhere in Europe. Instead, they are seasonal, often shallow, but vital all the same. The Ebro River, flowing from the Cantabrian Mountains to the Mediterranean Sea, is Spain's second longest and the most voluminous. It waters the Ebro Valley, one of the most fertile regions in the country and a historical corridor of movement and conquest, from Romans to Moors to modern commerce. The Tajo, or Tagus, is the longest river on the peninsula, originating in the Sistema Iberico and flowing westward through Toledo and into Portugal, where it empties into Lisbon's harbor. Its course defines regions and provides power and irrigation. The Guadalquivir, in the south, once carried the riches of the New World into the heart of Seville. Its name, like so many in Andalusia, comes from Arabic, Wadi al-Kabir, the Great River. In this fertile valley, oranges grow, olives ripen, and Moorish palaces still gaze down from the hills. Other rivers, the Duero, Júcar, Segura, and Guadiana, crisscross the land, each playing its quiet role in sustaining life, agriculture, and settlement across the centuries. Sunrise over mountains. Spain's climate zones, a land of extremes. Spain is not climatically uniform. Instead, it hosts a bewildering array of climate zones for a country of its size. In the northwest, a maritime climate brings regular rainfall and moderate temperatures. This is the green Spain, Galicia, Asturias, Cantabria, and the Basque Country, lush, misty, and temperate. Move inward, and the continental climate of the Meseta dominates. Hot summers, cold winters, and low rainfall define this central heartland. Droughts are common. Agriculture here depends on irrigation and hardy crops. To the southeast, the region of Murcia and parts of Almeria receive less than 250 millimeters of rain annually, qualifying as Europe's only true desert. The Tabernas Desert resembles parts of North Africa more than southern Europe. Yet along the Mediterranean, especially in Valencia and Catalonia, the climate softens. Mild winters, warm summers, and occasional rains support citrus orchards and dense urban populations. In contrast, Andalusia in the south is often scorching. Seville frequently records Europe's highest temperatures. But even here, microclimates abound. The Sierra Nevada can remain snow-capped well into spring, while the coastal Costa del Sol basks in perpetual warmth. In the Canary Islands, far to the southwest off the African coast, the climate is subtropical. Here, Spain enjoys eternal spring. These volcanic isles, born from fire, are geographically separate but culturally integral. Globe showing Europe-Africa geopolitical geography, borders, islands, and territories. Spain is more than just its mainland. It includes territories that complicate its geography and deepen its history. To the east, the Balearic Islands, Majorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and Formentera, float in the Mediterranean. These islands, with their own unique histories and landscapes, add to the maritime identity of Spain. To the south lie the Canary Islands, closer to the Sahara Desert than to Madrid. Their volcanic origins have created landscapes of dramatic contrast: black sand beaches, towering cliffs, and rich biodiversity. On the African coast, Spain also maintains two exclaves, Ceuta and Melilla. These small cities, surrounded by Morocco, represent remnants of Spain's imperial reach and remain symbols of contested identity and migration challenges. The border with Portugal, often overlooked, is one of the oldest in Europe, dating back to the 13th century. Meanwhile, the Pyrenees border with France has remained both a divide and a bridge throughout the centuries. Spain's geographical identity is thus both continental and island, European and African, mountainous and coastal. Sheaf of rice human geography, where land meets life. Geography is not just about mountains and rivers, it is about how people interact with the land. Spain's population is unevenly distributed. The interior is often sparsely populated, villages are dwindling, and rural areas face depopulation. In contrast, the coasts, especially the Mediterranean corridor and Madrid, are densely populated, urbanized, and economically vibrant. Madrid, rising in the heart of the plateau, is more than just a capital. It is a geographic statement, central, commanding, and connected. From here, a web of highways and high-speed trains radiates outward. Barcelona, Bilbao, Valencia, Seville, each lies in a distinct geographical niche, and each reflects its region's climate, terrain, and heritage. Globe with Meridian's conclusion, a geography of diversity and destiny. Spain is a land of profound geographic diversity. Few nations can boast deserts and glaciers, subtropical coasts and alpine peaks, ancient plateaus and vibrant estuaries within their borders. This physical diversity has bred cultural diversity, economic variety, and a rich, often fractious history. From the arid heart of the Meseta to the windswept peaks of the Pyrenees, from the vineyards of La Rioja to the beaches of the Canary Islands, Spain's geography has always been more than backdrop. It has been the stage, the actor, and the script of its national story. As we journey further into Spain's history, let us never forget that it is the land, the rivers, the mountains, the coasts, that first taught its people how to live, how to fight, how to endure.